evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here. I can feel there will be blessings tonight for all the Brazilians, and for the ones that are just a few Americans. They will have double blessing, because one is from the lessons and the other one is because they will develop the patience of listening to a very strong accent. I can see Jeff here, that's in English. I can see my friend Heather, and Danielle is actually an American too. So tonight we are gonna talk about the lessons from the Bethany village. As a matter of fact, what we're gonna look tonight is to meet Jesus Christ from one specific angle. When Jesus was among us, he brought his knowledge, his teachings in many different forms. Some of the forms were directly talking to people. Some of other ways were to the parables, to symbolic ways. Some forms were from the day-to-day events, from the cures, in many different ways. When we start studying those different passages, different ways of teachings, we can group Jesus in different ways. There's so many things he brought to us. We can actually organize them and say, oh, I'm going to just talk about Jesus as the master. We can group everything and present him as the master, as one day we're probably going to do that. We can also present Jesus as from his moral authority and just group by that. So tonight, we always hear people saying, and sometimes we say ourselves, Jesus is the perfect friend for the imperfect times. Sometimes we hear Jesus is the greatest friend ever. He's the perfect friend. So tonight you are going to see and face Jesus as a friend. Why we say that? Why we say that Jesus is our friend? So we're going to learn from this small village, the Bethany village. We're going to learn why Jesus is called, one of his many adjectives is that he is a friend. So I'm going to have this opportunity to see in that way tonight. We're going to do together. I see people are relaxed, looking, but in a moment we're going to start asking questions and want participation, because there is no right or wrong. I mean, everyone can have something to do, especially on this way that you're going to conduct tonight. So, let's see. Okay. The objectives identify Jesus as the great friend for our consciousness and all friends. So here is the map of that time. As we can see, here is the Bethany village. Here is Jerusalem. So it's about, I would say about 4 kilometers, maybe 2 miles from Jerusalem. And then here's the lake. And on that, near Bethany, there was like the Olive Mountains. There was with a lot of trees. Let's see if we can, yeah. With a lot of trees where Jesus used to go to meditate. It's in many, we can see many information, many verses from the Bible that Jesus used to go to those places to pray, sometimes early in the morning, sometimes at night. And that is a good question we can start with. Do you have a special place that you go to meditate? Because Jesus, that was his spot that he used to go. So, and I guess is probably a good prerequisite to be a friend is to invest on yourself, improve yourself. So in having a place where you can meditate, could be the beach, could be a lake, could be a bedroom, could be a porch, could be some place. But Jesus had a place, and that is the place that we see a lot of registration about it, that he used to go and meditate. And that is the village, the Bethany village. And over there, Jesus is gonna have 3 special friends. Who know the name of the friends? Who are the 3 people? 2 sisters and 1 brother. There was this little house there. There were 3 people. Martha, Maria, Lazarus. Yeah, these 3 people are together. So we're gonna see how Jesus relate with them, how we relate with them. You know, we're gonna movement our minds here and our thoughts in a little bit. So here is Jesus with them, and then the passage tells, after you pass 50, you maybe need some help here to read. But I think I may be able to follow here. As Jesus and his disciples continued on their way, he entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left to me all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted, upset about many things. But few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." So that is our warm-up for all of us, because when we come to reflect on the teachings of Jesus, we all have something to learn, and I'm including myself too. We can see here different levels of consciousness on the 2 sisters and the brother. So we can see here that Mary has a level of interpretation, Martha and Lazarus too. So let's go back. Yeah. So here we see the passage, and here we see the 2 sisters and the brother. All right? Everybody saw the 3 of them previously? No? Huh? Exactly. But do you know someone that exists but is not present? Someone that lives but does not participate on things? That is Lazarus. He is in our story. He's going to show up, I promise you. But he is already on the story. We don't see him. As in many situations, we see people around us, but they are not there. Things are happening around the people, but they don't get it. They don't have even a name. If you see on the previous passage, let me put it back here. As Jesus and his disciples continued their way, he entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. So far in our story between Jesus and the 2 sisters and the brother, there is one person well known, Martha, and then on the passage you see Mary. We don't see Lazarus, but he is there. He's part of the house. We don't know if he's in the house at that moment or if he's not in the house. We're going to figure out that. But what we can see here is a state of consciousness. It's 3 different states. And you guys are going to help me to identify each one of these consciousness, so we can kind of see how Jesus is going to deal with each one of them, so we can have some lessons to learn and to take home with us. So, let's go. Martha. Who knows any Martha? Are you a Martha? Who is Martha? Daniel, who is Martha? She is active? Yeah, I'm asking. Yeah, I don't have the answers. The good thing about this passage, I don't need to have the answers.
I think
Everyone could be Martha. I agree. But tell us about Martha. Who is Martha? She is passive or she's active?
She's active.
She's very active, right? And she's so active that she's putting her material interest above everything, right? Above the teachings that Jesus was there. But she has a great value, don't you think? Who invited Jesus to go to the house? It was Martha. You see how Martha is an important person. Do you feel someone here feel they are Martha? Daniel, courageous man. Yeah. Are you Martha? When I say Martha, that means the man, the guys doesn't worry about it, okay? Martha is like a consciousness. It's not Martha. Do you feel you are Martha? When are we Martha? That we are so busy that we have to meditate, we are feeling you are getting out of track, but we have so much of focus in something that we are not going to stop. Can you associate with that? All the time. And complain about that, right? So that's Martha. So, and here what happened with Jesus and Martha? How he is a friend. How Jesus is a friend of Martha, because we can already see this right from the beginning. He kind of let her be the way she is. He come and recommend her in a very nice way. He was there, and then he said, Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted, upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. So that is something for us to think. If you see a Martha, maybe our daughter is a little bit Martha, our son is a little bit Martha, our friends is a little bit Martha, but if you have the connection with them like Jesus had with them, maybe we should advise, or maybe we could tell ourselves and stop and say, oh, I'm too active. Anything about Martha? Then we have Mary, right? Mary, she is in a very symbolic posture, because she is she sat at Lord's feet. That is a significant symbolic passage if you want to get it to as a something for us to meditate, because when you are in someone's feet, you are really like, give me it. Give me all you can, because I really am open to, I'm at your feet to learn from you. So sometimes, and she's learning, and we're gonna see to these lessons of Bethany village, that all the people around Jesus is gonna grow. All the three of them. At the end, we're gonna see actually a big dinner. But the story starts like this, and you can see Mary. When are we married? Are we married sometimes? Are we being married right now? We are open, right? It's 9 o'clock, as was said here, and we could be home, could be watching. Is that a game today? Like, not really, right? The games, yeah, soccer games just started Sunday. But we could be home, we could be relaxing, preparing for the day tomorrow, but we decide to come and invest. Sometimes we don't even know why we are here. It's like we went in automated mode. And then suddenly when you saw we were like sitting on the chair and there is something to do here. As maybe our mentor guide us. Because they care about us. They are our friends. So that's Mary. So let's continue. Any question? I want more help. I can see people are looking, but I want more help in a little bit. Oh, Lazarus. Let's see Lazarus. The register of John. Now a certain man was sick. First time we heard about Lazarus, he is sick. Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. The first passage, you don't even see his name. He is nobody there. You know, like we said, it's a person that's nobody. And then when we heard about him for the first time, he is sick. They mention his name. A village doesn't have anything to do with him. The village is from Mary and Martha. So when we are away from our obligations, from the investment of our spirit, sometimes the way to call our attention is for us to get sick. So we can really, because we were born for the light, we were born to be happy. And sometimes if nothing happens, sometimes we're going to get like a disease, we're going to have a depression, we're going to have anxiety. Heather, correct me. So we can have many ways. So in this case, he was sick. And the sisters, Mary and Mary, went and seek help. See, you see the sisters and the brothers, they were very good friends. So they went to look for help. And that is interesting because we always have help in life. There is no one is not going to get help. Even when you are sick, when you are right on the bottom line, we're going to start to get up. In this case, the sisters, he is not able to get help. He doesn't even has a name, has a reference, but the sisters are there. Nobody's alone. I was just listening when I was coming here. I was talking to a friend that she works in a prayer area where people go to get news about the relatives that already passed away. And then she was saying that sometimes the mothers of the people come, and then the kids get happy because of the mother, and then the mother said, well, you always had a mother, what you are talking about? We'll never forget you. So we always have help, but sometimes we don't see it. I remember now also Ana Guimarães one time called Divaldo Franco, and she was sweeping her house, and she was not feeling good. She called, Divaldo, I need some help. You should talk and see if Joana come here to help me. And Divaldo said, Anna, she's over there holding the broom. And then she, oh, okay. So we always get help. So in this case here, the sister went to get help. And then we see the first information about Jesus with reference to Lazarus. When John registered the passage is saying that Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. And then we see Jesus was teaching Mary more closely because she was open to it. He kind of advised Martha. Let's see what happened with Lazarus in our continuation of this story here. Okay, here's the thing. When they went to talk to Jesus, Jesus was a little far away. After he said this, he went to tell them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I'm going there to wake him up. Because they think he's dead. His disciples replied, Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better. Jesus had been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. So then he told them plainly, Lazarus is dead. This is in John 11, verses 11 to 14. So Jesus is far away. They ask to help. He had a kind of a cataleptic problem where you all your body, you lose all the movements, and you can stay on that state for quite a few days. And Jesus knew it. He was trying to explain it, and then he ended up saying, oh, he's dead, but he was going to go there. So when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him. See how active she is? She doesn't even wait. She went there. So she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. Lord, Martha said to Jesus, if you had been there, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha answered, I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing me will never die. Do you believe this? And Martha said, yes, Lord. She replied, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world. John 11, 20, 27. And then here we see this dialogue that Martha is changing. Is changing from the beginning where she was not even, she accepted Jesus in the house, very active. She took the initiative. And then, but she was not really paying attention because she was very busy. But now there was a disease and she met Jesus, then you see a progress. That should happen with everyone on the Spiritist Center. If you are going to, I would say Spiritist Center, but could be any religion, and you are there for like 6 months, a year, or 2 years, maybe a little bit more, and you are still doing the same things, you are still facing the same issues, something is wrong. You may not be getting it. Or if it is me, I may not be getting it. Could be me too. So there is a need to be changed. There is a normal progress. There is a lot of information come, and we coming for us to, doesn't need to change. Some technology change very fast, but moral and behaviors that are so solid inside of our soul, it takes longer, but it should change. You should feel more strong, more courageous, more happy, and you should be doing something. And sometimes what we just need is a wake-up call. I remember when I was in the youth group in Brazil, there was these 3 girls. They are all doctors right now, Tatiana, Andrea, and there is another one that I forgot the name. And they were sitting there for like months on the group, on the crowd there. And then because of my debts, I always need, once in a while, I need to speak on the front to see if I can minimize my debts by speaking something. So I was talking over there. And some people were working, those 3 girls were always sitting there. And one time, from nowhere, someone come on the front and say, what about the people from Ipatinga? Nobody, you guys need to join us and help us. I swear, next week, the 3 of them were doing evangelization to the kids. They just need a wake-up call, like, and then when they call, they start working. We all should start doing something. There is many options. You say, I don't know what I'm going to do. Look, there is always something we can do. So, any question, anything here? So let's see what happened then. Okay, still into this conversation. After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. The teacher is here, she said, and is asking for you. When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When Jesus, who had been with Mary in the house, comforting her, noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there, or to cry for her. brother. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping or crying, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see, Lord," they replied. Jesus wept. Jesus cried. This is a very, very important passage for us here tonight when you focus in Jesus as a friend. A lot of time people can come to us with a problem that for them is a problem. Maybe it's not a problem for us because we already know that could be a solution for that problem. But for them is a problem. And a lot of times we have a lot of cliches, a lot of tag answers to give to people when they are looking for us. But most of the time, when people come to us, they want is a shoulder. They want is a ear. They want is a hug. And this passage is very significant because everybody was like in a balanced mode. Everybody was suffering because of the situation. And Jesus wept with them. He's gonna act, but he wept. He felt the pain. That is the way sometimes we need to consolate. So that's the teaching of what a friendship is. Not to give the answer. You go to the book of the Spirit's questions 4, 5, 9, and then you're going to see this question, this answer. That is the solution for you, my friend. No. Don't even lose your time if you want to be a friend, because that's not really the way it should be. Sometimes we should wait. Take a deep breath and say, come here. Let the person talk a little bit more. Let the person talk. Insist the person to talk. Talk a little bit more. I want to hear it. And let the person talk. Maybe after the person talk, the person already doesn't need any help, or she already has the solution because she feels strength, and then she can move on. So that's when we look at this small village, a small village, 3 people and Jesus, how much teaching we can get. Now come another interesting part, because Jesus is going to see Lazarus that was already buried in a cave. Let's see what happened. Jesus, once more deeply moved, come to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across the entrance. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there for 4 days." Then Jesus said, "Did I need to tell you that if you believe you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." So we have very deep knowledge here. Jesus come to him, because this is symbolic for us, and said, "Lazarus, come out." Have we heard that we all have God inside of ourselves? Jesus is come and said, come out. Come out your knowledge. Come out your wisdom. Come out your courage. Come out your love. Come out your affection to people. Lazarus, come out. So that is the teaching that Jesus telling him, the same as telling us. Each one, he teaches a different thing. Martha, he needs to advise. Mary was like, give because she's going to take everything. Lazarus is a different story. He was in a more deeper problem. So it was right there inside. That's Jesus came and said, Lazarus, come out. And that's a voice that sometimes is a wake-up call, right? That we need to talk to ourselves and see what is inside of us that is like, maybe like a little bit of, I'm a Mineiro, so I can say like from Minas Gerais that sometimes we need some incentive, right? Go, 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 go. Right? Mineiro is slow, but always get there. But sometimes we need to have that incentive inside of ourselves. We need to come out. We all have the strength. Each and every one of us, incarnate or disincarnate. And then he said to take the wrap, right? Because sometimes he need a little help there. Because sometimes we are coming out. We are spirits that are coming, maybe hold on in different dark areas and with collecting problems and situations for so many centuries. That's a time for us to change. And you need to come out, but sometimes something is left over around us. So that's when you go to the past there, right? And say, clean the rest there so they can continue. So wrap and look, good friend, let him go. Let him go. And when you help, person is good, let the person go. Let the person be free. Let the person be progress. Let the person be a co-creator of the universe. So these are the story of the Bethany village. And then after the Lazarus come out and was raised, everybody, these three groups, these three friends, they have a dinner. For me, like Jesus was like, do you know when you watch these Far West movies? At the end, the guy resolve all the things, then he get in his white horse, right? They gave goodbye, getting the horse and move, right? Jesus was preparing 1 week before he was crucified. He had a dinner with everybody. He didn't say he was leaving. On the Far West movies, you see people get into the horse and goodbye, right? And so the horse goes. But Jesus had a dinner 1 week before with these three, so that the friendship of these three, the truth, the Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, is a very nice story of such a small village with these things. It's very nice. They had a dinner, so and then we're going to conclude with the dinner. That's in John chapter 12, and then they say 6 days before the Passover, Jesus arrived at the Bethany where Lazarus lived. You see the difference? At the beginning, nobody say who was the village. The village was the village of Martha, right? Nobody mentioned his name, but when he really recovered, he gained a personality. He gained dignity. That's what Jesus gave to us. Is dignity, is opportunity. We are spirits in evolution. We have the rights to be someone. It's not someone important. It's someone in spirit, someone that can do something, someone that has feelings, that has good things to do, that can cry, that can laugh. We all have this. We all need to do our work here. And then when we start doing this, we get a name. So in this case, we see here as a reference saying, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served. In some other translations, you're going to see that a dinner was prepared. See the lessons here? Martha was not taking care of everything anymore. Dinner was prepared. We don't see this translation here, but we see Martha served, but all the people worked together. She was no more so much into control. She was work with a team, because Martha is the one that sometimes, if she's not vigilant, she may want to do everything herself, and then she's going to probably charge because she did it, then she's going to want the recognition. So, and for us here at the end now, we probably can pick and choose. I was Martha, I don't want to be Martha anymore, I can change, I want to be Mary, I want to be Lazarus. Which one? We have all these options for us to think and take home with us. But Martha served while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. So Lazarus was there talking with him. So now he is someone. Everybody came on this planet to be someone, to participate. Doesn't need to be big things, but to come and share and smile, each one doing his part. Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She put it in on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. This is very symbolic, because this perfume was placed when people are going to the very important pharaohs. They used to put this perfume on them as a preparation for them to live longer, when they are died, to be protected and things like that. Even they use it on the ships too. You know, the little animals they used to put on the head to protect against mosquitoes and other things. So that's I think is the symbolic way of doing it. But she's still the one pretty much into the what is really a reality, a spiritual reality, because Jesus was going to be crucified on the next week, and she's already preparing for it. So she was all the time in this story. She was probably, in terms of consciousness, she was the most aware of what was going on. And then there is this dinner, and then that's the story that we want to share of the Bethany village. Is there any question? Yes, Daniel.
Trying to understand exactly what was said. It looks like this is a metaphor, as you say, symbolic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that means more being humble and accepting his teachings when he said the prayers of the perfect?
Yes. Thank you. It's a very, very, very good point. Everybody heard what Daniel said? Can you say a little bit loud, Daniel, or stand up? No, did it words. He's saying that. Then I'll mix what you said. He's saying that Mary was very humbled with the attitude that she did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was more acceptable to the teachings of Jesus than anybody else.
Yeah, she was more acceptable to the teachings of Jesus. So we wanna thank you everyone for the teachings, and this actually is a part of the I don't know how to say in English, it's a cartilha that it is written already, and one day it's gonna be distributed here for free. But this is the third part, what Jesus is introduced to us as a friend, so we can see, as we said at the beginning, why Jesus is a friend. I hope now we can see he is a friend because he is really the true friend, because he taught each and every one what each and every one needed in special. Lazarus is in one way, Mary in another way, and Martha in another way. and maybe one day we can come here again and talk about why he is a master. That's another story. Thank you very much.